Hello, and welcome to another episode of Intune.training, the place to learn how to use Microsoft Intune, the Steve and Adam Show. Hey, I'm Adam.
Hey, I'm Steve.
Steve! What's going on?
Adam! Not much yourself?
Man, I didn't comment about this on last video, but geez, man, you shaved all your hair and your beard off. I'm glad we didn't call this the Two Dudes with Beards show. Jeez.
Hey, I've still got a beard. It's still here. It's going to be back.
Not the Steve beard that we all know and love, though. Bring him back.
No, true. He'll get there. Give it a month.
And did you make a Twitter account for your beard?
I did.
Man, I'm jealous.
It was a running joke with somebody else on Twitter.
Nice. I like it. It's good. It's good. I think I'm your only follower. Too. So there.
Maybe.
It's nice. All right. Well, enough of that shenanigans. Today, what are we going to do, Steve?
Same thing we do every day, Adam.
Make it up as we go.
I thought we'd try to take over the world, but hey, we'll go with this.
Oh, yeah, well, that too. It works.
So today we're going to talk about device enrollment profiles and how we can put some restrictions around what devices can be enrolled into your Intune tenant, and as a side effect, how it handles your AAD. So a good reason why you want to understand this is think of it from a security point of view right now. If a nefarious actor was to get one of your accounts and they go and just sign into Windows out of box, they will get all of your company configuration with local admin on that computer. So this is where we're sitting there and saying we only want trusted devices connecting into our tenant. So to do that, we're going to use a concept which is determining the difference between corporate and personal devices in Intune, which is a bit of fun.
Well, good. This is right up my alley. For this past week, we did our Config Manager 1910 upgrade, and I snuck this in as a feature. During that, we enabled co-management, and I checked the checkbox that allows you to register all of your devices into Intune.
Your boss knows you've done this, right? Like, we don't need to censor this, so he sees the video.
Hey, boss. No, he knows. I think he knows. He's gonna see.
He does now.
I have a week to tell him before he sees this. So anyway, we've got this enrollment policy configured so that users cannot enroll their devices, but by enabling that setting in Config Manager, it enrolled all of our devices into Intune. So I all of a sudden had all of our devices there, but then they all are failing enrollment because the user is not configured to enroll their devices. But I was hesitant to enable all users to be able to enroll because we don't have enrollment restrictions enabled. And so it's this piece of, do we want them to be able to register devices so that they can get to company data and do the MDM, the mobile data management, like we've talked about? But so I don't want to break that functionality from working, but I also want to allow the users to do all the things that, I want to be able to lock the machine down, allow users to register fully in Intune on company devices, and then or enroll, and then but only register personal devices for data management stuff. So that's kind of I'm in this already. So this is a great topic for us to go through this week. So that's what we're going to do.
It's an awesome one. And I'm going through the same thing with one of my customers at the moment around hybrid AD join, to be able to support conditional access. And so, well, we want to make sure we're still secure, and this is how we can handle that. So what we're going to do is we're going to step into the Intune portal, as we all see here, and we love it dearly. We're going to go to the device enrollment option under Manage. And then from there, we step into enrollment restrictions.
Okay.
Sorry,
We've got a bit of a lag. He's overseas.
Well, no, it was more that I just got told by my server that I have updates ready.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Well,
yeah, I was pretty
let's see
excited.
If we can beat him to the install. All right, ready?
It's a game.
Yes.
So as you can see here, we have device type restrictions and we have device limit restrictions. So these are the default policies that are assigned to all users out of the box. If you have a complex environment, you can go and create additional restrictions by hitting the create restrictions up the top. But today we're just going to go and look at the default policies because we don't need to worry about beyond that. So as you can see, these are all the hardware models that we're allowed to support by default, which is Android Enterprise. Work Profile is off by default. We need to flick that over, but not in this video. And we're going to go down to the Windows MDM option. And if you hover over that little circle next to that atom, you'll see that it allows us to talk about what it's going to restrict and not restrict. So when we talk about the does not restrict PC agent installation, this is the legacy or Intune Classic model that requires Silverlight and will only work on, it still works on the newer OSs, but it requires an agent to be installed on the device. This will not block that, but you shouldn't be deploying this functionality anymore, as that service is in the process of being deprecated and decommissioned by the end of this year, I believe. So it's important to note that. We're now going to go to the personally owned column, and you'll see by default it is allowed for everybody. So we're going to block the Windows MDM from being able to have personally owned devices enrolled. This is where, so for example, if you open up and go to mail or something like that in the OS layer, and it goes, oh, we want to manage your whole computer, this is where it will block that from happening. So it's a good hygiene thing to have there anyway.
So so before we click this, because I think we want to show a little bit about what this means currently. So with it allowed, with it's configured to be allowed, and then let's talk about personally owned and what that means as well. And so we've got a couple of test machines set up, and we're going to show you the difference with different ways that a user can enroll their device or register their device, and what is happening with the different options that they click, because for a user they're going to be presented with several things, and you want to make sure that on the back end we are managing what is actually being allowed to happen without leaving it up to the user to just click OK.
Exactly.
So first, let's talk about personally owned versus company owned, or corporate. I guess it listed as corporate owned. So so I'm going to leave that one open, and I'm going to jump back to our. Actually, I wanted to go back to just the portal again.
Because the portal is just more superior.
I was trying to get to. I don't know what I was trying to get to, but here we are. So when we go look at devices, we will see all of our current devices listed ownership as corporate.
Yep.
And so those are flagged as corporate because we have either autopiloted them, so we've registered them for autopilot. So that meant that we pre-registered the device hash with our tenant, and so it knows who those devices are. Or those devices have been Azure AD joined or hybrid Azure AD joined. And so those are three of the ways that a device can be automatically identified as a corporate device. And I think
so I'll grab you there for
yes.
a minute, Adam. So hybrid AD will definitely come through as a corporate device, but an Azure AD joined device won't come through as corporate unless you go and change it to corporate. Oh,
okay. Yeah, well, see, there you go.
Because there's no way that device isn't a trusted device.
Right, and that's actually what we're going to demonstrate is that users can join them without us as a corporately allowing them to do that. So
that's right.
So what we're looking at here, so there's a difference between the Intune devices and Azure AD devices. So I've switched over to look at Azure AD. So you can see several of our devices are Azure AD joined, but then we also have Azure AD registered. and that is an Android. We've got a Mac one as well. So what we're going to do is show the different join types and what they do here in Azure, and then how that impacts things in Intune as well. And then we will revert some of those things and then go and change the settings. So for the first one, I'll start from here. So we go to Accounts and Access Work and School, and so you can hit Connect. At this point, you have the option to join this device to Azure Active Directory, join it to local Active Directory domain, or simply just put in your work or school account and hit Next. So all of these, you have 3 different options in this one screen, and so we are just going to, did I spell that right?
I think so.
Training. Adam at Intune Training. All
yeah,
right,
Adam
and we're going to hit. Yeah, thank you. That's the piece that I was worried about. So now we're not going to click these other options, and so what this should do is this should register our device with Azure Active Directory. So we're going to click Next, and it should take a minute in the background for that to process once I put in my credentials. I'm going to wait for that to go. All right, so while that's happening, so that's the right-hand device. On the left-hand device, we are going to follow almost the same steps, except we're going to check the first option at the bottom there. I can't talk and type. I don't know how people do this.
I don't either.
Okay, so now I'm going to join this device to Azure Active Directory, and I probably actually didn't need to type anything there yet. There we go, sorry.
I believe you've got an MFA prompt on your phone there, Adam.
I do. I wasn't getting a text message, I was getting an MFA prompt. Awesome. This is great. Come on, respond.
Now that it's working.
Say yes. Right. Oh, it's not going to read. Well, let me sign in another way. Try it again.
Cool.
Send me a request. Okay, while that one's going, we'll see if I can get 2 prompts at the same time. See, I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Look at that.
iTunes.
Yeah.
At least it's not iTunes.
All right, I'm gonna get a text message on my phone. I don't know why my authenticator is just not
timing out. Maybe
nice.
there's not. Maybe you need to update it to the latest version.
Maybe it's because our tenant's located in Australia.
No, it's never a timing issue.
Never, never, never. Okay, so that one's authenticating. Oh, we get to make a PIN because we've got Hello for Business enabled on our tenant.
That's correct.
Okay, so done. All done. Now, we get this nice Windows icon, work or school account. If we click this, we can hit Info, and we can see that our device is managed by MDD provider account, and we can see that the management server address is the WIP MAM manage Microsoft. So this is the mobile account management, whatever the A stands for. Application management. So this is the Windows Information Protection. So this is that piece that we've talked about where this is allowing, or this is protecting our device, protecting our company data on our device. And so so it is managing our device, but only specific pieces of it that connect to our tenant.
That's correct. So it's doing the content protection rather than device protection.
Yes. Okay, so now this one is specifically asking, are you sure you want to join this organization? Yes, I do want to join it. Because why not?
Because we totally trust it.
We do, because these guys know what they're doing, I think. Okay, so you're all set. Now what it's telling me is, so currently I'm logged in on both of these machines. I'm logged in with just a regular local account. On the left-hand machine that I've joined to Azure AD, the next step would be to log out and log back in with my credentials for our Intune training tenant. And at that point, I'm logging in with my Azure AD credentials instead of my local credentials. So that's the other difference here is the way that you're going to sign into the device. Okay, so once we do that, we will hit refresh, and we should have two different machines that are named not even remotely close to the same. So Atom PC was the left machine, this one. So that's the one that we joined. So now we can see that it has been Azure AD joined. And the right machine should be this one. Yep. So Azure AD registered. So we've got them right there next to each other. Perfect. Also, you'll notice that the Atom PC is also MDM managed already. So we have pushed that machine all the way through the whole process. So now it is even going to be in the Intune side of things. So if we switch back over to devices and we go to all devices, we hopefully will see NL blah blah blah, or the Atom PC, and there it is. So we have already gotten that machine fully in our system. So that's it. So now what we want to do is we're going to I'm gonna back these back out. I'm gonna disconnect them all from our network, and I need to put in back in my local credentials. So this would be a thing if you don't have this set, or if you've got users that have done this already, you could simply just walk them through this process of go here and you can go and disconnect them.
To do that, you need to be an admin of the device, and you also need to make sure that you have a local account available, because it will allow you to remove your AAD account without having a local account, and you no longer have access to the device.
Yes, so it gives you an option right there where you get to either put in your Microsoft account credentials or use a local account when you do that. So be careful on doing that. Okay, so we have now disjoined both of those machines, and we just need to go and make sure that we remove them from our tenant if they did not automatically get removed. And in some of the testing we saw that yes, so the Atom PC is gone, but let's go double check our registered one and make sure it's gone. So Atom PC is still here, but the other one, the registered one, went away. So that's neat. So it removed it from. So I guess it's nice because it lets me at least keep a record of I had a joined machine and I've lost it.
Yep.
But I had a registered machine and I don't really care because it wasn't my machine.
That's right.
I didn't look when we had it open to see that it showed the corporate versus not corporate.
It came up as corporate.
It did. Okay.
It did.
Interesting.
Yes.
We could rewind the tape and find out. Hey, you can do that at home. Huh?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. All right. So, we're back to here now. So this is all we want to do, right? Click block. So we want to block personally owned devices from being registered or enrolled. I have to get my terminology correct. We're blocking devices from being enrolled in Intune MDM by setting this setting. So we're going to hit save on that.
Yep.
And we're going to hit save on that. And that's it, because this is going to be targeted to all users. So the next time a user with any of our company credentials attempts to log in to a device, it will compare the restriction. It will pull up the restrictions for that particular user and apply those during that login process. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
And that will then make it so it'll only ever go to that. It can be enrolled and registered into AAD, but it should no longer come into Intune.
Yes.
Is the simple answer. So we don't have a problem with it being on AAD, but we just don't want it into Intune, because when we put it into Intune, then it gets all our configurations, our applications, and access to the tenant.
Yes, and it becomes really sticky there because it's hard to separate things, and it's hard to you end up rebooting someone's machine or patching a machine or locking down a machine that maybe you didn't want to do that to.
That's right.
So I believe, Steve, you said while we were here we might want to take a look at these device limit restrictions as well.
So device limit restrictions, look, for most customers it's not going to be an issue, but some of your IT staff, they will hit, when they're doing testing, they'll hit that device limit restriction number. And there's two device limit restrictions you need to be aware of. One is here, which is the Intune device. So I'd be setting that, as Adam's done here, to 15.
But I wouldn't do it for everyone.
Oh no, I'd do it
I mean,
for everyone.
maybe you can, but really?
Yep, because
All right.
it means that the end users aren't going to be impacted if an admin doesn't do a proper cleanup and reset the device and things like that.
All right.
So
Yeah. So if a user hits that limit, it just means that whoever's managing the tenant just really hasn't been paying attention.
pretty much.
Or your users have way too many devices.
Yeah. And then there's the other one, which is in Azure Active Directory. So if we go, all the way back, and we go to devices and device settings. And we'll see on the right down the bottom, there is a maximum number of devices per user. Ours is set to unlimited, but previously the default was 5 as well, or 10. So it's just an important refresher to make sure you go and change that setting.
Excellent. Hey, we could enable MFA for the join.
And that again, that's an additional security requirement that we recommend. There was a phase where Microsoft had that on by default, but then it's been turned off by default for most organizations.
So that's interesting. So on the left machine, whenever I joined it, it did not prompt me for MFA. But on the right machine, when we were just registering it, it did require MFA, which I thought was interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Okay, so here we go. So we've got all we did was change that one setting.
Well, we changed a couple of others, but primarily.
But the impactful one is going to be this guy. So we're going to
we'll do that on the left-hand side one.
Don't want to get people mixed up.
Is this the one that you did it on?
Yes. Good point. Okay, so we're going to attempt. So we won't know until we attempt this.
If the policy is taken quick enough.
There you go. They really could have a more descriptive message there.
It would be nice, but yeah.
Yep. But hey, there you go. So there's something went wrong.
Yep, and that's basically telling us that you don't have permission to that.
Yep.
But we'll still be able to AAD register that device. So if you go in there, Adam, yep.
Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did a minute ago. Right. Now, Steve, you mentioned a minute ago there are some apps that will prompt us for being.
This is like the new Edge, the built-in mail app, anything that's basically a Win32 app from Microsoft. It will try and say, well, do you want me to register just this app or the whole device into device management if you have Intune turned on?
So we could give it a shot here, maybe.
So if you go Exchange.
Wow, I already had a PIN, so it just accepted it on this side. So I was able to register again, and we can double check, and we're still just managed. I apologize because I meant to on the other one, on the Azure AD join one. So on yours, when you're testing this, go click on that info button because you'll notice that it changed the icon from a window to a suitcase and or briefcase, whatever. And then some people need to bring more stuff to work than others.
That's right.
Then it would have said managed by Intune.training or Intune training, and then the management server address would even be different as well. So those were.
We did pop that up.
Yeah, it was on the screen. So if you rewind it and then put your own commentary over the top, you'll see.
Yes.
All right, this is the big question here, right?
So here where it says allow my organization to manage my device and hit yes, because most people would. and this should now come up and say no. Or is it going to do the AAD registered?
Yeah, I believe it's just going to register it.
Yep.
And what we should see is when we're done, it should show up in this Access Worker School portal. Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Hey.
Because it's trying to register it completely into Intune, so it doesn't have the permission to do that. And that's why we set this setting. So here, and when your users get that, they can still sign in. They just need to sit there and say this app only. And when they do this app only, it doesn't go through the Intune enrollment process.
So let's see if we can. All right, so let's give that another shot. Let me make sure it didn't register it. Oh, yeah, so it has already done it. So let's verify. So look, it just registered.
Yep.
Only.
And
but
if we go into AAD, we can see it in there as we're registered as well.
There it is. Azure AD registered. And then our second one is Azure AD registered as well.
Yep.
There we go. So effectively, we have prevented users from accidentally having their devices in Intune managed by your tenant, unless you intend them to.
Which is pretty cool, right?
Now, okay, so we've said, that we could identify the device as a corporate device, and then it would allow it to do this. So once I've got a device like that's in a state like this, is there a way to convert it to allow it to get Intune enrolled?
I don't think so. I haven't investigated, is the answer I'll give you.
Okay.
Or if you were to add the device to a security group that is AAD registered, autopilot linked, it should theoretically convert it. Maybe. No, it won't, because it won't be an Intune policy.
Right, it won't be an Intune yet. Yeah. Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. So in that situation...
sorry, I'm asking a random question that we haven't really tested that particular scenario.
Yeah.
If you know the answer, comment in the thing below, because that's what people say. Yeah. I keep pointing, Steve. It's good. They don't know where that is.
So you have to do it, Adam. You keep pointing at me, but I need to point below me. It's not...
You know, well, you know this, but so for the audience, so my daughter has started a YouTube channel. She's 7, and she's doing some coding stuff. Codingwithcaroline.com will take you there. She'll appreciate that. Shout out. But she keeps saying things like that, like, Dad, the people that are popular on YouTube, the people that get a lot of views are doing this and this, and you have to do all these other things, Dad. And so she's got this mystique about YouTubers and stuff already. So we'll see how this goes. I don't want to do that. All right, so we're going to do this. Adam at intune.training, and we're hoping that we can just do the manage this device only.
This app only.
This app only, not this device only, because that's okay. So it's already removed it again for us. Just checking. All right. So then all we have to do is just now. Okay, here's a question. If I just uncheck that box and hit yes,
it would just AAD register and it'll work.
But then I can also say only just integrate with one app.
That's correct.
So it'll look the same, probably.
Yes. Looks exactly the same no matter what. If you have this app only, it won't appear in settings, I believe.
Well, let's test it.
Let's.
All right, hit done. Look, set up correctly. All right, awesome. Okay, let me click back out, check back in here. Look at that, nothing.
Yep.
It's not there. Interesting. All right, so do we have another built-in app that could do that for us? Let's see. Store, maybe?
No, Store
Office.
likes.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, you saw the difference there on what's going to happen with that. So this one we actually have already registered it, and so if we were to open it here, we'd be able to do essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't even ask us. It should ask us for our password only, but then we've already connected it, and so it should already be ready to go. Look at that, already creating an account.
Yep.
Yep, so this is the behavior you'd get here, is that we've already connected it.
Yep. So
this is the nice bit about having it integrated, and then it lets you choose the right one every time, and you've only got to do this once.
That's right.
Once you've done it. So if we go and check back over here in our portal, we should see just the one that we registered, but not the others, because we're not registering the device. We're just registering the one app.
Exactly.
Cool. Now, so let's talk about that for just 1 second then. So then we are then managing the user and the data that user's accessing within that one application.
Yes.
And we're not doing anything on the device.
No, that's correct. So it's staying inside that application bubble, not inside the device bubble. And if we were to go and manage the device without enrolling, if we uncheck the box and just go the whole computer and it gets registered into AAD, registered into AAD, not enrolled into AAD, that then allows us to do some stuff around conditional access as well.
Oh, yes. Conditional access.
Yep.
So then that's adding that next layer. So this is the first gate. Like, okay, we want to stop most things, and then once we start allowing some things, then this is the other additional things that we can then continue to lock down.
Exactly.
I like it. This is really cool.
Very, very straightforward, and something that I think everybody should be looking at.
Yeah. And I think this is important because this is a bit that can get you in trouble really easily if you've got the wrong things configured, because you can end up hitting people's machines that are not yours.
Yes.
It's definitely something you don't want to do.
That's correct.
At least I don't think you want to do it.
You really don't.
And if you need to do any troubleshooting, and we're not going to get into this with this one, but there is a command. So just if you're at this point where you need to look at this stuff, dsregcmd /status will show you information about the join status of the device, and these fields will have different information, and you can even do dsregcmd status /debug and see even more information. And so since we're not, and this is actually great because you can actually confirm we're not registered at all.
Yep.
And on this guy we should be able to, and this is as far as I'm going to go, I promise to you.
It's all good.
I love all this stuff. It's so hard to step away.
I hear you.
So see, now we can look at it and we can see, okay, so we're not Azure joined or anything, but this is letting us know that the user is workplace joined, and we've got the one workplace account that we've got set up. And I think we can even do debug. Debug works more if it's not working, really. If you're in the process of trying to register and it's not working.
Yep.
But even from here, you can do a dsregcmd leave, and this will disjoin you from your registration. So there's all that. Eventually. So that's it. That's all we're going to show you today. And this was good. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Adam. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, shoot them through on Twitter and YouTube in the comments below. You can find me on Twitter is at OnPrem Cloud Guy.
And I'm on Twitter at AdamGrossTX.
And yeah, look, we really appreciate how everybody's getting involved and behind us on this. And if you've got anything you want us to cover off, let us know.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
See ya.
Bye.
See you, Steve.